What's up guys, welcome to Monchkinz Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Monchkinz logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and welcome back to another video guide. In today's video we are going to take a look at the Divine Pandemonium LUFENIA fight, and again, before we do start, like and subscribe if you haven't already, because it does help the channel and I would really appreciate it. And now without further ado, let's start this video. Alright guys, so we'll start this video off as always on how you're gonna deal with the LUFENIA orb, which starts at the start of the battle and will disappear once you hit less than 80% and will reappear once again once you hit less than 50%. You can get LUFENIA orb counters by 1. Granting buffs with your ability, you get +1 for this one, or you can get +10 by deleting the target's turn. So there are 2 characters that can basically do this turn deletion, which is Lion and Zidane. As for the other way, well, all you can really do is bring characters that can actually buff themselves while they use their abilities. And as for how the fight works, the boss does have a recast ability, which it will immediately use after your first turn. It will also use this after hitting the HP cap when you hit less than 50% and 30% of its HP. Now the boss will summon ads after using its recast ability, and will get an aura after hitting the HP threshold less than 70, 50, and 30% of its HP. While the boss has this aura, basically it will cancel all your brave gains and will also be immune to delay. Now the boss does get another huge brave damage reduction when you hit less than 30% of its HP, and unfortunately you cannot kill the ads. This will just disappear after quite a lot of turns. I think it's more than 10 turns, however this is something that I don't think anyone actually counted, so if you actually know the actual amount of turns, let me know down in the comments below. Now the boss is also going to be immune to a few debuffs, actually very key debuffs like freeze, paralyze, HP attack disable, and max brave down. And so how are you going to be dealing with this fight? Well, turn deletion is going to be the key. It's not only because of the orb requirement. This is the key, I suppose, mechanic to remove the wind aura from the boss. Healers are definitely going to be very helpful here, as the ads actually will deal an HP damage to the entire party whenever it gets a turn. So healing all those, definitely helpful, and even tanks that can prevent damage as well. Now, Setzer is still going to be pretty useful in this fight, regardless whether his freeze is ineffective. Basically, he can still bypass a lot of the issues regarding the high damage reduction, obviously later down in the fight. Now, as for characters that you may want to bring in this fight, there is a whole list. Once again, here you can pause and just check out if there's a character or you have a character that is listed here. Obviously, this is not the end-all be-all character list. There are obviously other characters that you can definitely bring, but the main thing here is bringing Lion or Zidane to handle the orb. Now, as for call abilities, I still recommend having Jack, since his debuff is very useful later down in the fight, and of course Kurosame is still pretty helpful as well with the increased HP damage. Lion is probably one of the key, I suppose, call abilities that a lot of people might use in this fight if they don't want to use Lion in their main team. And the other call abilities that I would recommend are going to be characters that can apply a lot of debuffs, since you really are going to struggle later down in the fight if you can't really hit that much. Alright guys, now let's talk about party compositions that you may want to bring for this one. Of course, the first one that I would recommend is the video that you guys are seeing right now, which is Vaughn, Setzer, and Lion. The call team I went with this one is Warrior of Light, Iroha, and Kurosame, with Yuna as my support. And my summon is going to be Alexander. Now, Alexander is actually a key part of the strategy for this one, as the first recast ability is going to be just healed by Alexander's special effect. So basically you're just going to heal through that without using Yuna. and you can use Yuna later down in the fight, especially, you know, when you hit less than 30%, because you're not going to be doing a lot of brave damage. And I'll be honest, you'll see in this video, even with debuffs, you're just basically almost tickling the boss if you can't get any brave gains. So highly recommend something, you know, a support character that can either give you a lot of brave gain or do a lot of damage with the burst effect. Now, as for my call abilities here, I kind of went with a little bit more defensive. Warrior of Light, obviously with his LD, will prevent a lot of damage. So if you can time that right, you can basically avoid a lot of HP damage. Iroha for the heal, and, you know, Kurosame more for the HP damage. Now, the next team I have for you guys is Cloud of Darkness, Porom, and Amethyst Lion, with a call team of Kurosame, Jack, and Ignis. Xdeath is the support for this one, and Ramuh for the summon. Now, basically, obviously, Porom is going to be your healer, plus giving you a lot of brave gains, and as long as you can get rid of that wind aura around the boss, you should be fine with this team. You can probably change the support here with another Cloud of Darkness if you really want to, or a Setzer, but I think Xdeath is actually a pretty good choice since the HP poison deals a lot of damage, especially if you can time it right. Now, the last team I have for you guys is going to be Zidane, Porom, and Vaughn. The call team for this one, Jack, Iroha, and Kurosame, almost identical. Yuna for the support, and Ramuh for the summon. Now, this team basically, you know, is probably like one of the best teams to bring here. Zidane's, obviously, you won't have to worry about the LUFENIA orb counter at all, since he can pretty much do this almost instantly, as long as he can break the enemy. So, you know, this is gonna be a pretty overpowered team for this one. Obviously, Porom can still heal you through, and just in case you have Yuna later down the track, again, her brave gain is actually very, very useful in the later fights. Alright guys, so we're finally at the end of this video, and of course, I'll give you guys my final thoughts regarding this fight. Overall, I found the fight quite challenging, especially when dealing with, you know, there's only two characters that can really give you plus 10 LUFENIA orb counters, which are Zidane and Amethyst Lion. You can try and delay as much as you can with granting buffs every time you take a turn. That can probably work out. I'm not 100% sure. I never tried, and I don't think I'll ever try. I think that's just a masochist way to deal with this fight. So overall, a challenging fight because we have limited characters that can deal with the LUFENIA orbs in, I suppose, an easier way. I don't know if that's the right phrasing for it. However, the fight itself, you know, will surprise you with a lot of HP damage as well, especially with that recast ability triggering at certain HP thresholds. So overall, I think the fight is okay, a little bit challenging, and sometimes we do want a challenging fight. So let me know down in the comments below your opinions regarding this fight, and of course your team as well. And if you think I missed anything, leave it all down in the comments below. Let's help the community out. And that is basically it for this video, guys. Please do remember to click like and subscribe if you haven't already. It does help the channel, and I would really appreciate it if you can share this video as well to other DFFO players who are struggling with LUFENIA fights. And hopefully this video can help them, and check out my other videos as well. And make sure to follow me on Twitter and on Facebook at Monchkinz Gaming. This is Monchkinz logging off. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next level.